Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of building a foundation for your personal budget before you even think about building a foundation for your business budget. Hey, Authentic Therapist, it's Keisha here, the founder of Peaceful Mental Health Counseling Services, also the founder and owner of Authentic Profitable Practice, where we help therapists like you start from the ground up to build a successful and profitable practice. So when you're looking at your personal budget, you might see like, okay, again, going back to our example, all right, so I actually need to make $120,000. But if I want to maybe take more vacations throughout the week, or if I want to send my child to private school or something of that sort, then I might need to bring in maybe $125,000 or maybe $130,000. So this is going to be extremely helpful so that when you're looking at your business budget, you can start to include some of that into what your business budget is going to look like. Now, really, this could really be the case for any type of business. Of course, I specifically work with therapists and helping them to establish their finances and making sure that they're working a business that works for them emotionally, even academically and financially. So, but this really can apply to any business that you have. This is part of how at least the start of how you establish what your financial goals would look like. So, of course, you're going to also look into other things in your business, like what are some of the things that you might need specifically for your business, such as overhead prices. Okay, we're talking about if you're paying rent, do you have to pay for water? You have to pay electricity. You're also looking at things as small as paper. How much do you have to pay for paper on a monthly basis? Do you have a telephone bill? Do you have to fax certain things? If you have an office, do you have coffee? Do you have milk, sugar? All those different things are going to be something that you are going to actually take into consideration when you are establishing that budget, right? So those are different ideas of things that are going to be included in your budget. But how can you establish even just that business budget if you haven't looked at your personal budget? Now, let's just say, for example, if everything that we've discussed up until this point maybe requires you to spend about, your budget is maybe $80,000 for your business per year. Yeah, that's a lot, but we're just using it as an example. $80,000. Now, you've only really budgeted for thinking that you're going to need for your business $130,000. Now, look, you're nowhere near how much money you actually need in order to take care of yourself. Now, if you cannot have a business where you're going to be able to maintain your personal finances while also growing your business, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble, right? So this is why it's so important, especially as a therapist, to take those things into consideration. Especially if you're working a business where you are a solo practitioner. If you are a solo practitioner, this is like the utmost importance. Do not start something knowing that you're going to have more business overhead and you will not be able to take care of your personal expenses, because you will be in a lot of trouble. You're going to end up like, where did all my money go? I thought that I had enough money budgeted. No, you didn't, because you didn't even look at the accurate amount of what you needed to take care of personally. As we move forward, this is where it becomes extremely important. When we start to go into establishing what your fee would look like. And when we talk about your fee, we're talking about your regular individual therapy fee, your family therapy fee, your couples therapy fee. You're going to look at all of those things and, adding that up into what you're also going to include is the amount of people that you're also seeing per week. And you're going to add those things together. You're going to come up with your number that you're going to make per week, per month, per quarter, and eventually per year. That is going to help you to establish what your finances would look like. But again, these are all the details that you need to really consider when you are working on establishing a budget for your business. Other things that you may want to think about is like maybe just the way that your system is working. Are you using an electronic health record system? Do you have to pay for that? Are you using a specific note system? You're going to have to pay for that. Do you have an administrative assistant or a virtual assistant? You're going to have to pay for that. If you're going to have someone working on your medical claims, doing your claim and your billing, you're going to have to pay for that as well. So I hope this really helps you to understand just overall, really the relationship between your personal finances as well as your business finances and how they work hand in hand. But do not forget, you have to start by looking at your personal finances. The more money we're able to make in our business, eventually, the more we're able to serve others. Our reach to be able to serve others become extremely great. So I hope this helps to clarify and just to help you to understand a little bit about the relationship between our personal finances and our finances for our business. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you feel like this information was pertinent to your growth in your personal finances as well as in your business. See you later, Authentic Therapist.